Victoria, breathe, papas. Breathe. Right. Breathe, my baby, breathe.
doesn't matter. If you're some major politician in D.C. or somebody no one knows about, every case the federal level starts with the sentencing guidelines. Those levels are based upon the harm potentially caused. There's a number of ways to say it. In financial cases, it's based on loss. And by the way, just to be clear, loss can be what you actually took or what you wanted to take. So it could be like the actual loss or the intended loss. So in it's weight. It's just weight. But unlike state cases where cases are based on what usually they're found with. At the federal level of conspiracy, is based on, for the most part, what people said. You had.
My guest today is David Bell, a criminal defense attorney who walked away from big firm tax law to become a public defender, where he represented some of the most serious criminal cases in the system. In this episode, David breaks down sentencing guidelines, the tactic known as ghost dope, the real differences between public defenders and private attorneys, and how the criminal justice system actually works behind the scenes. Where'd you grow up, David?
I grew up in Kansas City, like a suburb of Kansas City. And it was, I bring this up now because it'll come up later, like kind of this upper middle class, almost predominantly all white suburb. I think my worst experience with the police was like they didn't have the baseball card I wanted. You know what I mean? Like that was it. Like so I did that. Was there and then went off to college and University of Pennsylvania for business school and then NYU for law school and was a tax lawyer at first. I got LM in tax and went back to Kansas City and tried that for 3 years and it wasn't for me. So
what did your parents do?
my dad's a CPA. My mom was a teacher. So just professionals. My mom wound up being a stay-at-home mom after a while. My dad had a solo practice, so I kind of learned a little bit about business from him because he was always out having to get clients, keep clients. So that was a little bit of education.
Any siblings at all?
I have a brother, Jonathan. So he's an executive at a hotel and casino. So
would your dad take you to work a lot as a kid?
Yeah, so tax law or tax CPA stuff doesn't make for great dinner conversation. But they used to have books. Books are things with paper in it that you'd have to look through. I know they don't have that anymore. And you'd have to file these books. They would be books where you look up the tax kind of code, the law, called BNA, CCH. And you'd actually have to take out a piece of paper. It would tell you to take out page I-36 and put in I-36, the new one, because they kept changing the law. So I'd go down with him on Saturdays and file and stuff like that. My grandfather was a lawyer. So I'd go down with him and see his office and run around the law firm on the weekends and steal pens.
What did you think about all that when you were a kid?
You know, what I thought about was I wasn't sure, although I felt like law and tax were probably my entree into like being with the guys. Like that was the conversation between my dad and my grandfather. And so I think part of me went down that road in order to kind of fit in with them, kind of be part of that conversation.
What kind of law did your grandpa do?
He did antitrust law. There's a big case in Kansas City where the Kansas City Star stopped selling to carriers, newspaper carriers in like the 70s because they had been bought out. The Kansas City Star had been bought out, and he sued the Kansas City Star so these carriers could have their livelihood back. And I got to go to meetings where he'd be up in front of 300 carriers, kind of the underdogs. These are guys getting up in the middle of the night, throwing a morning paper, and then coming back throwing an afternoon paper. And so watching him fight for them, I think that added to it a lot because it was like just these individual working guys getting screwed over by a big company, and watching him fight that and eventually succeed to a certain extent was kind of cool.
How would you have described yourself growing up?
Kind of a nerdy, kind of bookish, I didn't have any athletic ability whatsoever. I always joke like if there was a white Urkel, which I don't know if Urkel is somebody you know of or
Yeah, of course, Steve Urkel.
Yeah, Steve Urkel. If there was a white Urkel, I'd probably gravitate towards being more like that. A little bit, always a little bit, maybe a little bit of a sense of humor, a little bit witty, intellectual, but just kind of nerdy.
What were some values your dad and grandpa instilled in you from the professional side?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. Hard work is definitely one of them. Always hard work, always working, always making sure you're doing your best. I think that was really important. Always knowing the product you were delivering, whatever it was. And I think underlying that all, and I'm starting to appreciate it more now as I'm older, but passion for what you're doing. I think that's really imperative. If you're going to do a great job, if people are going to respect what you do, if people are going to like your work, you got to be passionate about it.
What do you think you picked up from them that you use now in your line of work?
I think that passion. There's a picture I have in my mind as you're asking this question of my grandfather with a microphone. He's talking to these carriers at this hotel next to Chief Stadium, by the way, Arrowhead Stadium, talking to these guys that are, kind of trying to, their entire livelihoods on the line because the Star stopped selling them newspapers, and they had routes that were being transferred down generation to generation. They weren't worth anything anymore. And I think it was that kind of fight. It was that David versus Goliath. And just by chance, I happened to always be the David.
How old were you when you decided to go into law?
I don't know if I was ever an age where I hadn't decided to go into law. I just kind of drifted into that. I was when I was at Penn, there's a business school, Wharton School, and like I was with these kind of, these kind of machines, if you will, and they're going off to investment banking. It was around the time where Gordon Gekko, Greed is Good type movies and stuff like that. And I didn't fit in really with that. Intellectually, I was doing great, but like going off to Wall Street and stuff where a lot of people went, that wasn't going to be for me. And so I applied to law schools, and I got at NYU, and that's where I wound up going. So
did you go for taxes because of your dad?
I think so. I mean, looking back at the time, I know another skill my dad was like, you have to have a saleable skill. Always that. You got to have a saleable skill. So, now when I hear my friends of mine, their kids going off to college and studying like comparative politics in the 1950s, I'm like, that sounds really cool because I would love to take that. But that was not the type of stuff I took. I took accounting and finance in college. I took, a million tax courses in law school. So when I got out of law school, I could, recite the Internal Revenue Code from probably 1 to the 2700s just by having studied so much of it.
When you were going through the classes and becoming that type of lawyer, did you have second thoughts about it at all?
Yeah, I did. It was really intellectually stimulating. Kind of like chess, probably in a little way, although I'm not a big chess player. I think where I started to question it was when I was going back and working over the summer. So as a lawyer, you generally start working summers at a law firm. And it's really the first time, like I'm dressing up in a suit. I'm going into work at 8. I'm leaving at 5:30 or 6, whenever it is. I'm having to keep track of my time and bill it, which sucks. Billing sucks. It just does. It always will. Always will. I think at that point I started. I'm like, wait a minute, this is it, and that's when I started probably questioning it. But I mean, I had law school's there. I was on this kind of path, and I think that that has some momentum that you can't change really quickly. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of pushing you in a direction, and you feel it pushing you, but at some point you got to make a decision. But it took me a little bit of time.
Where did you go after law school?
So after law school, I came back to a firm that had merged into a firm that had merged into a firm that was where my grandfather had worked. And I worked there as a tax lawyer, and that wound up merging into another. Anyway, it's a big firm now, but I wound up doing tax law there, doing like corporate tax, mergers and acquisitions, estate planning, all that type of stuff. I did that for 3 years.
So what would a typical case be like?
I'd be like someone come to me like, David, I remember the one, what happens to a net operating loss when an LLC and an S corporation merge? I'd be like, first of all, no one really cares what the answer is, but that memo may cost $10,000 me researching it. You know what I mean? Like, so it didn't make for good dinner conversation. There wasn't a lot of warmth. There wasn't a lot of umph there. And I'm not disparaging it. For some people, they find that meaning there, and that's okay. It started to whatever. I remember my grandma was really proud that I had my name on the outside of the door. Like, that's a big deal. But I remember that and the paycheck, the rest of it was less meaningful to me. And that kind of ate away at me a little bit, I think.
Is there any excitement or drama in those types of cases, or maybe an audit?
No. I never handled like civil tax like that.
Okay.
What I like to do was the IRS used to publish. So the IRS has code sections, like the Internal Revenue Code is statute, and then they have regulations. And those regulations have subsection numbers and little I, Romanettes, and all this crap. And there used to be a phone book, and there was some lawyer in D.C. with the IRS or Treasury Department that was assigned to that code section. And what was really cool was when I would find their phone number, and I'd call them up and ask them the question that I was being asked to find by one of the partners. I found that really enjoyable, because here I was talking to the person that's drafting the legislation or whatever it is that's becoming the statute or becoming the regulation. And I found that human contact I found to be really helpful.
So now you're in a totally different line of work than you were back then.
Dude, I mean, it's not even close to what I was before.
How do you switch from that?
So, all right, I was thinking of leaving law. I was going to leave law. This was in 98. And I was like, what the hell? Or no, this is in 2001. I'm sorry. I was like, what am I going to do? So I started looking around. And I remember I tried to, I became an advocate for a domestic violence shelter while I was working at the firm. And I would have a beeper. And we would go in to do like orders of protections and things for people that are being, beaten. And I remember I loved the atmosphere of the emergency room. And I love the warmth of helping people. But how do I do that with a law degree? And someone came up, I forgot where I heard it, a friend of mine, I think it was Cheryl at the firm, a friend of mine, she suggested public defender's office. So I went there and kind of watched a little bit, and I applied. I remember I applied. It was a big deal to apply. I mean, it was a big deal for me because I had been on this trajectory, and I applied, and I didn't make it the first time. And I want to talk to you about that when we get a sec, but people talk about public pretenders, so here I came with this pedigree, whatever you want to call it. I thought like the state of Missouri would bow down to me coming in, you know what I mean? And they'd reject it.
What if I told you that while most farmers are breaking their backs growing crops that barely make a profit, there are people quietly getting rich growing plants that sell for $40, $60, even $80 per pound? I'm not talking about corn, not soybeans, not wheat. I'm talking about specialty plants that chefs are begging for, plants that supplement companies can't get enough of. Plants with profit margins so insane that a quarter-acre plot can generate more income than most people's full-time jobs. And the crazy part? Almost nobody knows about them. Today, I'm revealing 14 of the most profitable plants you've probably never heard of. Plants that are transforming regular people into six-figure earners. Number 7 on this list is technically a weed that sells for $30 per pound. And number 14, it's not just for cats, it's a $60 per pound gold mine hiding in plain sight. But before we dive in, do me a favor right now. Hit that subscribe button and drop me a comment telling me what's your farming goal for this year. I read every single comment and I want to know what you're building. All right, let's get into it. Plant number 1, ashwagandha, the adaptogen taking over the wellness world. Let's start strong with ashwagandha. If you've been paying attention to the supplement industry, you know this herb is absolutely exploding right now. Withania somnifera, the dried root, sells for $25 to $60 per pound. And here's the kicker. Most of it is still being imported from India. That means if you can grow high-quality ashwagandha domestically, you're stepping into a market worth hundreds of millions of dollars. This adaptogenic herb is used for stress relief, energy, sleep support, basically everything modern stressed-out Americans are desperate for. And research is actually backing up what Ayurvedic medicine has known for thousands of years. Here's your opportunity. Supplement companies, health food stores, and direct-to-consumer wellness brands are all hunting for reliable domestic suppliers. Quality varies wildly with imports. Shipping costs are brutal. You could position yourself as the premium local source and charge accordingly. Ashwagandha is a perennial, so once it's established, you've got a renewable cash crop that keeps producing year after year. Think of it as planting your own money tree in the middle of the wellness revolution. Plant number 2, Gotu Kola, the brain-boosting cash crop. Next up, we've got Gotu Kola, and this one sits at the intersection of two massive markets, cognitive enhancement and anti-aging skincare. Centella asiatica sells for $30 to $60 per pound dried, and demand is going through the roof. Here's why. Students want better focus, professionals want mental clarity, aging adults want to protect their brain health, and the nootropics market, smart drugs and cognitive enhancers, is absolutely booming. But wait, there's more. The skincare industry has discovered Gotu Kola for its wound healing and anti-aging properties. Premium cosmetics companies are putting it in everything. So you've got dual market appeal with premium pricing. That's the dream. The business angle? Gotu Kola is a perennial that grows in warm, moist conditions. You can harvest it multiple times per season. And because most Western farmers have never even heard of it, competition is basically non-existent. Think of it as the herb that proves the most profitable crops are the ones nobody else knows about. Plant number 3, Sichuan pepper, exotic spice worth more than gold. Now we're getting into the really profitable territory. Sichuan pepper, Xanthalospilum species, sells for $40 to $80 per pound. Read that again, $80 per pound. This isn't your typical spice. Sichuan pepper creates a unique tingling, numbing sensation on the tongue that's absolutely essential in Sichuan cuisine. There's no substitute. Nothing else tastes like it. And because it's difficult to find fresh and high quality in the US, the prices are absolutely premium. Here's the opportunity. Sichuan cuisine is having a major moment right now. High-end restaurants are putting it on their menus. Home cooks are getting adventurous. Spice companies are scrambling for quality sources. But domestic production? Almost non-existent. The plant actually grows in temperate climates. You don't need to be in China to grow it. You just need to know what to do with harvesting and processing. Before we continue, quick question for you. Have you ever tried Sichuan pepper? Drop a comment and let me know. And if you're getting value from this video, go ahead and smash that like button. It tells YouTube to show this to more people who need to see it. Plant number 4, Tulsi, or holy basil, the sacred herb gone mainstream. Tulsi, or holy basil, is an Ayurvedic superstar that's crossed over into mainstream wellness culture in a big way. Ocimum sanctum sells for $20 to $45 per pound dried, with massive demand from the wellness and tea industries. This sacred herb in Hinduism is now being used by everyone, from stressed out professionals drinking adaptogen tea to supplement companies formulating immune support products. What makes Tulsi attractive as a crop? It grows easily in warm climates or greenhouses. You can get multiple harvests per season. The dried leaves command premium prices, and demand from both traditional herbalists and modern wellness consumers keep growing. The adaptogen trend has put Tulsi front and center. It's one of those herbs where spiritual significance and commercial value actually work together perfectly. Think of it as the herb that proves you can serve both ancient tradition and modern markets and make serious money doing it. Plant number 5, Moringa, the miracle tree that prints money. Moringa oleifera, the miracle tree, and honestly, the name fits. This fast-growing tree produces leaves that sell for $20 to $40 per pound dried, and the demand from health and wellness circles is absolutely exploding. Why? Because moringa is one of the most nutrient-dense plants on the planet. The leaves are packed with vitamins, minerals, and protein. The supplement industry can't get enough of it. Health-conscious consumers are paying premium prices for moringa powder, capsules, and tea. Here's what makes moringa special from a business perspective. The tree grows incredibly fast, sometimes 15 feet in the first year. You can harvest the leaves multiple times per season, and once established, it requires minimal care. You're essentially creating a renewable cash crop that keeps producing year after year with almost no ongoing investment. And here's the really important part. Most moringa is still being imported. That means a massive opportunity for domestic growers to capture market share and avoid all the shipping costs and quality control issues that come with imports. Think of it as the tree that literally grows money, just waiting for you to plant it. Plant number 6, stevia, the natural sweetener revolution. Stevia rebaudiana is riding the massive wave of consumers ditching both sugar and artificial sweeteners. The leaves sell for $20 to $40 per pound dried, and the market is enormous. Here's what makes stevia special. It's 200 to 300 times sweeter than sugar, but contains 0 calories. Major beverage companies use it, food manufacturers use it, and health-conscious consumers want it for home use. Now here's the interesting business angle. While the processed stevia market is competitive and dominated by big players, there's a completely different market for fresh or simply dried stevia leaves, for tea, for home use, for small batch food production. That's the market you can own. Stevia grows as a tender perennial in warm climates or as an annual elsewhere. The leaves are harvested and dried. Simple process, solid margins. The wellness revolution has put natural sweeteners in the spotlight, and stevia is leading that category. From diabetics to dieters to people just wanting healthier options, your market is broad and motivated. Plant number 7, purslane, the weed worth more than spinach. Okay, this one's gonna blow your mind. That weed you've been pulling out of your garden, the one you've been throwing away, it's worth $15 to $30 per pound. Purslane, Portulaca oleracea, contains more omega-3 fatty acids than spinach. It's packed with vitamins and minerals. It's delicious with a slightly lemony, crisp texture, and upscale restaurants and health-conscious consumers are discovering it like crazy. Here's the business opportunity you've been missing. Purslane grows like crazy with minimal care. What most people spend time and energy removing from their gardens could literally be your cash crop. The nutritional profile justifies premium pricing, and the market is expanding fast as more people discover it. Modern wellness trends favor nutrient-dense foods, and purslane fits perfectly, from farm-to-table restaurants to Mediterranean diet followers. And listen, if you're watching this and thinking, wait, I've been throwing this away for years, Drop a comment below. I want to hear your reaction. Purslane is the plant that teaches you to see weeds as wealth. Plant number 8, Yaupon holly, America's only native caffeine source. This one is absolutely fascinating. Yaupon holly is the only native North American plant that contains caffeine, and the dried leaves sell for $30 to $70 per pound. Ilex vomitoria, and yes, that's an unfortunate Latin name, but don't let that fool you. Yaupon produces a caffeinated tea that's smooth, flavored, and doesn't give you the jitters that some people get from coffee. It grows wild across the southeastern United States, but commercial cultivation is still in its infancy. That means massive opportunity for early movers. The market dynamics are perfect. Consumer interest in tea alternatives is exploding. People want locally grown, sustainable products, and Yaupon checks all those boxes while being genuinely unique, America's only native caffeinated plant. It's a perennial shrub that requires minimal maintenance once established. The leaves can be harvested multiple times per year, and you can position it as a premium, locally grown alternative to imported teas. Think of it as the tea that's been waiting centuries for America to rediscover its own caffeinated heritage. Plant number 9, lemon balm, the stress relief herb everyone wants. Lemon balm is riding the wellness wave hard, and it's generating serious money. Melissa officinalis sells for $20 to $40 per pound dried, with huge demand for stress relief and sleep support. This gentle, lemony herb is used in teas, tinctures, supplements, and aromatherapy. Research actually supports its traditional use for anxiety and sleep issues, which means the market includes both traditional herbalists and modern wellness consumers. That's a huge addressable market. Here's what makes lemon balm a smart grow crop. It's incredibly easy to grow, spreading vigorously once established. It can be grown indoors or outdoors. The leaves can be harvested multiple times per season, and demand from the wellness industry keeps growing. Modern stress epidemics have created unprecedented demand for gentle, natural stress relief options. Lemon balm fits perfectly into that market without the side effects of pharmaceutical options. Think of it as the herb that proves sometimes the easiest crops are the most profitable when you target the right markets. Plant number 10, calendula, the skincare industry's secret weapon. Calendula is experiencing a renaissance in natural skincare, and the dried flowers sell for $20 to $50 per pound. Calendula officinalis is used in creams, salves, soaps, and oils, with demand from both commercial manufacturers and small batch crafters. These cheerful orange flowers have genuine skin healing properties that modern research has validated. And the natural skincare industry, which is absolutely exploding, uses calendula extensively. Here's the business angle. Calendula is easy to grow and produces abundantly. The flowers are harvested and dried carefully to preserve color and potency, and you can sell to multiple markets, wholesale to manufacturers, retail to crafters, or even create value-added products yourself. The clean beauty movement has created unprecedented demand for natural, effective ingredients. Calendula fits. And here's the thing. Flowers aren't traditional agricultural crops, which is exactly why most farmers aren't growing them. But the skincare industry doesn't care about agricultural traditions. It cares about effective, marketable ingredients. Think of it as the flower that grows money for anyone paying attention to beauty industry trends. Plant number 11, shisho, the Japanese herb going mainstream. Shisho, or perilla leaf, is exploding in popularity, and the profit potential is remarkable. Perilla frutescens sells for $20 to $50 per pound, with particularly high demand from restaurants. This distinctive herb comes in green and purple varieties and is essential in Japanese and Korean cooking, used in sushi, as wraps for meat, in pickling, and as a distinctive garnish. The flavor is complex, minty, basil-like, with unique notes that nothing else can replicate. Here's the opportunity. Japanese and Korean restaurants are opening everywhere, and they all need shisho. Home cooks discovering Asian cuisine want it, and the supply is extremely limited outside of specialty markets. You could be one of the few local suppliers serving an expanding market. Modern food culture is increasingly global, and ingredients like shisho are riding that wave. What was exotic 5 years ago is becoming standard in upscale dining. Smart growers position themselves ahead of that curve. Plant number 12, culantro. Not cilantro, but worth more. This is the plant everyone confuses with cilantro, but culantro is actually far more valuable. Eryngium foetidum sells for $15 to $30 per pound and has massive demand in Latin American and Asian cuisine. Culantro has a stronger, more intense flavor than cilantro. It's essential in sofrito, recaito, Thai curries, Vietnamese pho, and countless other dishes. And here's the key. It's incredibly rare in regular grocery stores. Most people who want it have to hunt for it in ethnic markets or go without. The business opportunity is clear. There's established demand from specific cultural communities. The plant is easy to grow in warm climates or greenhouses, and the supply chain is underdeveloped, meaning premium pricing for growers who can deliver consistent quality. Traditional ethnic cuisines are becoming mainstream, and ingredients like culantro are following that trend. More people want authentic flavors, and that means more people need culantro, but production hasn't caught up to demand. Think of it as the herb that proves you don't need mass appeal when you have passionate niche demand and almost no competition. Plant number 13, fenugreek, the culinary and medicinal dual threat. Fenugreek offers something special, dual market appeal. Trigonella phonem graecum sells for $15 to $30 per pound, valued in both culinary and medicinal markets. The seeds are essential in Indian, Middle Eastern, and Ethiopian cuisine. Curry powders, spice blends, traditional dishes all rely on fenugreek's distinctive maple-like flavor. Simultaneously, the supplement industry uses fenugreek for various health applications, from blood sugar support to lactation support. This dual demand creates business resilience. You're not dependent on a single market. Restaurants and spice companies want it. Supplement manufacturers want it. The audience is diverse, and the total addressable market is large. It's an annual that's relatively easy to grow. Seeds for the crop, which store well and ship easily, and the per-pound pricing is solid for both markets. Fenugreek remains underutilized in domestic agriculture. Most is imported, which means opportunity for domestic market share with fresh, high-quality product. Plant number 14, catnip, not just for cats. And here we are at number 14, the plant I saved for last because most people will never take it seriously, and that's exactly why it's so profitable. High-grade catnip sells for $30 to $60 per pound. Nepeta cataria isn't just for cat toys. The pet industry is massive and willing to pay premium prices for quality catnip. Here's what most people don't understand. The pet industry is worth billions, and catnip is one of the most popular cat products. But quality matters enormously. Premium, organic, fresh catnip commands far higher prices than the dusty stuff in cheap toys. Pet owners who love their cats will pay for the good stuff. The business opportunity is clear. The market is huge and established. Production is straightforward. Catnip grows vigorously as a perennial, and you can target premium markets, natural pet stores, high-end pet boutiques, direct-to-consumer sales. The profit margins on premium catnip are excellent. Modern pet ownership treats animals as family members, and that means premium products command premium prices. Quality catnip fits perfectly into that market. Think of it as the plant that proves you should never underestimate the pet industry's willingness to pay for quality. All right, if you made it this far, you now know something that most farmers and homesteaders don't. The most profitable crops aren't the ones everyone is growing. They're the specialty plants serving niche markets with passionate demand and limited supply. These 14 plants represent a fundamental shift in how you can think about agriculture and wealth building. Instead of competing in commodity markets where margins are razor thin, you're serving premium markets where customers actively seek you out and willingly pay premium prices. And here's the beautiful part. You don't need hundreds of acres. Many of these can be grown in small plots, in greenhouses, or even indoors. You don't need massive capital investment, and you don't need to compete with industrial agriculture. What you need is knowledge, which you now have, and the willingness to serve markets that others are ignoring. So here's what I want you to do right now. First, smash that like button if you got value from this video. Second, drop a comment below and tell me which plant breaks distinct. Climates. You don't need to be in China to grow it. You just need to know what to do with harvesting and processing. Before we continue, quick question for you. Have you ever tried Sichuan pepper? Drop a comment and let me know. And if you're getting value from this video, go ahead and smash that like button. It tells YouTube to show this to more people who need to see it. Plant number 4, Tulsi, or holy basil, the sacred herb gone mainstream. Tulsi, or holy basil, is an Ayurvedic superstar that's crossed over into mainstream wellness culture in a big way. Ocimum sanctum sells for $20 to $45 per pound dried, with massive demand from the wellness and tea industries. This sacred herb in Hinduism is now being used by everyone, from stressed-out professionals drinking adaptogen tea to supplement companies formulating immune support products. What makes Tulsi attractive as a crop? It grows easily in warm climates or greenhouses. You can get multiple harvests per season. The dried leaf.
Okay, if you were in a recent car accident, you have to check this out right now. Okay, I'm going to show you something absolutely crazy that's going to blow your mind. So this is a settlement check that I got from out, and I printed it out, and you'll see it has all of my personal information here. So all I did was mark out my name with it.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate each and every single one of you. I love each and every single one of you. Thank you to the new subscribers. Thank you to the returning subscribers. I love and appreciate all of your likes, your shares, your comments, your subscribes. You're greatly appreciated. Thank you for being here with me. This is a general reading. If the messages resonate with you, it's all good. If they don't resonate with you, maybe next time, okay? All right, so the channel I have for you guys today is that an entire group, they're being exposed, okay? They're being exposed, and they have behind problems and you're actually one of them. All right, but your strength is overwhelming them. Is that the issue? That's the problem. Okay, they're being exposed and the rebellion has begun, honey. The rebellion has begun because there's a separation that's going to take place here. Or this is simply saying that your strength is causing a separation for the group. Boom, that's a beautiful sound. It's a group of alcoholics. Yeah, it could be a Leo. A Leo may be involved here. But, these people usually get off. They can't, like, be not in their natural state when they come for you, okay? It either has to be through some type of spell work, it has to be through some type of intoxication, some type of toxicity, okay? But this is letting you know that the rebellion has begun, honey. It's time for these people to be exposed, for this group to be exposed, okay? So that's a beautiful sound. So you know that you're dealing with an alcoholic or someone who is into like very toxic energy, okay? They harmonize, like I said, the only way that they can actually come for you is when they're either under the influence of something or either they have to put you under the influence of something. And most likely it's going to be spell work, maybe to cause you to be confused. Okay, these people are delirious at this time. Like I said, it's confirming. You're definitely dealing with an alcoholic here. Okay? So the alcoholic is drug use. Okay? Alcohol, drug use, whatever it is that they do that's toxic. Okay? In order for them to feel like themselves. Lightning don't strike in the same place twice. So these people are actually in remorse and regret because I feel like you've left them behind. Okay? You left them behind because you knew that they needed healing. Okay? They needed some type of healing. It says, physician, heal thyself. This is also telling me that you may have left them behind because you needed some type of healing as well. Okay? You needed to change your vibration. You needed to be vibing high or whatever you're trying to accomplish at this time. This is saying that you had to leave them behind because your frequency was too low. You would not be able to manifest in low frequency, okay? I sabotage all your relationships. So this is what's been happening behind closed doors. This is what's being exposed there, okay? I sabotage all your relationships is saying under the vibing high card, it's actually saying that these people felt like if they could sabotage every relationship that you go into or you have, and it could be any type of relationship, family, friend, work, whatever, any type of relationship that you're able to harmonize in, if they could destroy that, they could keep you at a lower vibration. So that's what they were attacking. They were attacking everything that you felt like meant something to you, okay? Everything that you have some type of connection to. It could be emotional connection, spiritual connection, anything that means anything to you. They've been attacking that, but you're keeping your frequency high. So it's more or less, it's like a backfire. I don't see backfire yet, but yeah, someone may be on some crack or something, crack cocaine, okay? Lightning don't strike in the same place twice. Yeah, they were your fake friend, okay? This person definitely need healing when it comes to the toxic behavior. Maybe they have a very toxic lifestyle. Someone here is getting a divorce, or you have divorced yourself, or there's a divorce happening here, or a divorce needs to happen because these people are operating out of their south node. Okay, you have already separated from your south node, K2. You already separated from your south node. Right now you're in your north node. You've divorced actually from your south node. So what it's telling me is that whatever you had in your south node, wherever you were coming from in the past life, in this life you actually incorporated it and you separated from lower vibrational frequency, from lower vibrational energies, okay? This is what's happening here for these people, but they remain in their south node because they wanted to take you for granted. I took you for granted, right? This is also an individual here. It doesn't necessarily have to be a Leo. This person could have Leo anywhere in the chart, but it's also emphasizing on the Leo full moon that's going to be on the first of. It's going to be on the first of February. I guess, yeah. It's going to be on the first of February. So this is just a heads up to let you know that the Leo full moon, anytime the moon is in Leo, it's asking you to show your ass, okay? Because Leos love to show the ass. Leos love to be in the limelight. Leo love attention, okay? So with the full moon, it's like there's an extra sauce going on here, especially if you have Leo in your chart. The full moon is in your sign, so you're definitely up front and center stage. So whatever it is that you're doing, make sure that you're doing it right, okay? Because you will be seen. And for the low vibrational Leos, everything that you've done in the dark is actually coming out in the light, okay? Especially if you have Leo highly aspected in your chart, you don't necessarily have to be a Leo, but you could have Leo anywhere in your chart. It depends on what aspects it's making to the moon as well. So if you know a little bit about astrology, you should look into that as well. See what Leo is doing in your chart. For some of you, it may be opposing your sun sign. For some of you, it may be making a sextile. For some of you, it may be. It depends. It may be making a trine. You know, so it just depends on what aspects you have in your chart that Leo is connected to, and you're going to understand where the full moon is impacting you most. Okay, a little bit of here. So we have someone here, they don't feel as accomplished as you, okay? And I feel like for some reason, this could be one of the reasons that they were attacking you. Maybe they felt like you either probably look better than them, or you do better than them, or um, more people are attracted to you than them. And if this is a Leo, you know this is a blow to the ego when it comes to physical appearances, because you know one of the traits of Leo is that you know that mane on the lion's, you know, the lion mane. This is actually what gives them the prowess, or what makes them feel like they're attractive, okay? And when they're trying to join a mate, the lion, when they're trying to join a mate, the bigger the mane, the more attention they get, the more, you know, the more, what do you say? The more, the more options. That's not what I'm looking for, but that's what they said. That's what I could come up with. The more options they have, because the mane is fully grown, and it's, you know, it's when they walk in, like it's like moving from side to side. It's going with the wind, so it makes them like really really attractive to the opposite sex. So when I'm talking about Leos, it's like, yeah, if a Leo feel like you have more of something more than them, that's causing you to get more attention than them, then yeah, they're actually gonna make you the enemy. Like, and if it's your friend, it's like they're gonna be your friend, but they're gonna be like your secret enemy. They're gonna be doing it like under the surface, so you don't see it and stuff like that. So all of these things are going to be coming up. Um, Topic of conversation, okay? Topic of conversation when it comes to the full moon. So we have a born leader here, and I want what you have. So you may be the born leader, but you have a whole group of individuals that actually want what you have, and these are fake friends. Like I said, they're always under the influence when they try to sabotage you, right? Because they have to gain that strength. They have to gain that courage when it comes to you. So the only way they feel like they can attack you is if they're under some type of influence, like giving them like liquid courage. So for example, if this is someone who they're always intoxicated with alcohol and stuff like that. They gain their strength by being intoxicated. So now they feel loose, now they feel free, now they feel like, yeah, we can attack Divine Collective and whatever. So they have liquid courage is what's happening here. They're in regret, okay? They're in regret for wanting what you have at this time. They're definitely in regret because it's not turning out the way that they expected it to. For some of you, this could be a family member, okay? Or this has to do with your family, okay? Because of your knowledge, you're very knowledgeable, okay? You come from maybe your background may be people who are very like intelligent, educated, and it doesn't necessarily have to be like school book knowledgeable or something like that. So for some of you, you're quite street smart. For some of you, you're book smart. For some of you, you have both. Okay, both street smart and book smart. So it's a little bit more difficult for them to get one over on you because you're cutthroat. They felt like they were cutthroat, but the energy that you're in right now, you're very much cutthroat, or you may be even more cutthroat than them because of your um your relationship with the Most High God, because that's why God came out here, okay? And for some of you, you may be healing from something that has already occurred, okay? You've grown, you've matured, and you're vibing high. Your frequency is pretty high, so these people cannot attach themselves to you or try to attach themselves to what you have going on or what's coming in for you. If there was a time in the past that they could, right now they can't because you have spiritual protection around you. Okay, you're actually protected from the sabotage because that's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to sabotage you. For some of you, this could be a roommate, this could be a landlord, this could be someone that's been snooping, someone who's break and entered or went through your stuff like illegally, just looking for anything that they can get on you in order for them to either attach themselves to it or either try to take it from you, okay? I will do whatever it takes to get what I want. That's the energy that they're in, these fake friends here. So you may be dealing with more than just a group of people. You may be dealing with people from your past as well who will fake friends. They will fake friends towards you, like you couldn't trust them and stuff like that. But you want them to know that don't hate the player, hate the game, right? You need them to know that don't hate the player, hate the game. I want you to die. So this is exactly what they wanted for you. Maybe in the past, like these people were able to like take you clean up out of here. In this lifetime, it's going to be very difficult for them because they're still in the south node while you're in your north node. Once you're on your north node, once you're on your life path, it's very difficult for lower vibrational entities to like attack you. And if they do attack you and they get a little bit of energy from you, it don't last too long. Okay, so it's something that they have to keep doing over and over and over again. So this is telling me that you are worthy. You worked hard. Everything that you have accomplished is because of your hard work, your determination, and your strength, also your faith. Okay? Maybe when you felt like everything was going against you, everyone was turning against you, there was no way out. Your faith and your strength is what actually caused you to overcome, or is causing you to overcome um, this group here that's being exposed just because they want what you have. That's exactly what it is. The reason that they're attacking you is because they want what you have, okay, or what you're about to receive. Holy Spirit, what messages do we have for the collective? So we have the Emperor here, okay? This could be an Emperor in your family. It doesn't necessarily have to be, okay? Yeah, definitely the Emperor here is signifying that an Aries here is involved, okay? What is the Aries doing? Actually, the Aries is actually walking away from a group of individuals here as well. They feel very unfulfilled in a situation, okay, in a situation. So maybe this was happening to an Aries, okay? This is happening because there was some type of magic that was done on them, something to do with maybe a drink that they received or something like that, an alcoholic beverage or something, but it was tainted. If it was the devil here, it was actually tainted. They may have done something that caused them to like become very sick, become very ill or something like that. There's a Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces that's also involved here, a feminine energy. This is saying that this Aries energy here is like um, doing some type of spell work or something like that to attach themselves to Queen of Cups energy here with the Six of Swords, okay? With the Six of Swords here, this is saying that any type of mental anguish. So if these people are doing anything to like mess with your mind, okay? Cause illusions, mess with your mind, some type of mind control, some type of mind magic or something like that in order to steer you the wrong way. The spiritual team has guided you in back into the right direction. So maybe you're going down the wrong path for a little bit. Maybe you took a leap of faith in something, or you're thinking of taking a leap of faith in something. This is showing that your spirit guides have actually corrected the course, okay? They've corrected the course. For some of you, you're going into a loving relationship here with the Two of Cups here. You're making partnership with a person. So this could also be this fire sign, your Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. There could also be a Gemini involved, and there's a Capricorn involved. Capricorn energy. There's also a Pisces here, okay? But the Pisces is under like some type of scrutiny. They're under scrutiny, but they're also being looked at as, I think they're the instigator here. This Pisces here, okay, this Pisces energy here is either is actually the instigator here. For some of you, you may have a Pisces South Node or something like that. You may have been very powerful in a past life when it came to doing spell work, magician work, and stuff like that. You may have been very powerful, but you were on the energy that you were under is the devil energy. So there was a lot of darkness around you when it came to your South Node. You're finally leaving your South Node behind with the Six of Swords here, and you're making partnership. You're going into union. You're taking a leap of faith towards your North Node, okay? And this is happening. I feel like this is happening during this full moon, or this is happening right now. This is something that's happening right now. There's a transfiguration going on right now because of the Eight of Cups. It could also represent transfiguration. Eight of Cups could also not just talk of walking away or leaving something behind that you're unfulfilled in, but Eight of Cups is also going towards a spiritual awakening. Eight of Cups also is going towards your Ninth Cup, which is wish fulfillment, okay? So for a lot of you, going towards your wish fulfillment here, okay? Something that's not toxic, something that's not draining. So when it comes to your finances, you're getting a brand new beginning when it comes to your finances. Some of you are taking a leap of faith wherever finances are involved, wherever finances are involved, it's like you're making partnership with a person that's actually going to lead you towards more financial fulfillment, financial stability here. Okay, and it could be a King of Wands. Again, Aries coming up, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. This could also be a Gemini here that's in a leadership position, a leadership energy. This is also, it could also be like a Capricorn, because you know Capricorns, when it comes to work, they love to work, they love hard work and stuff like that. Some of you may have a Capricorn South Node. Now, the reason I'm saying some of you may have a Capricorn South Node, if you have a Capricorn South Node, you're usually, when you first reincarnate or when you're born here with a Capricorn South Node, if a Capricorn South Node, okay, that means that you had Capricorn in your, is it in your North Node? I think it was your North Node in the past life. I'm not sure. I don't want to steer you the wrong way. But I know about the South Node here when it comes to Capricorn. Capricorn South Node, you may have been a business owner, okay? You may have worked in finances, you may have worked in real estate, okay? You may have been an entrepreneur. Just a lot of hard work. Everything to do with Capricorn is a lot of hard work. And you know, Capricorn is about pentacles, things in the material realm where you can touch, taste, and feel and stuff like that. For some of you, you may have worked with your hands a lot. Some of you may have owned like farms and, you know, houses and stuff like that. All of these things represent the Capricorn. And having Capricorn into your South Node, you coming into this life with a Capricorn South Node, you still have the traits of hard work and perseverance, patience, and, you know, creating stability and stuff like that. But when it's your South Node, you're being geared towards Cancer, which is your North Node. And Cancer has to do with home. Cancer has to do with making the home beautiful, having children, being the wife, okay, working from home. All of that is Cancer energy. Also the mothering energy, the nurturing energy, all of that is Cancer. So if you have a Capricorn South Node, you may be stuck between your South Node and your North Node, trying to transition between your South Node and your North Node. So if you tend to like work a lot, like you're always working, and you have no time for family, yeah, this is showing that there is an imbalance here. Something needs to be balanced out, okay? That was a lot, okay? And again, confirmation that everything to do with the home, okay? When it comes to, you see, falling right under the devil, which is Capricorn, and then the Four of Wands, which has to do with home, environment, and stuff like that, coming together, celebrating the home, celebrating marriage, celebrating love life, relationships, children, everything to do with the home, and it's falling right under the Capricorn. So some of you have a Capricorn South Node that's causing you to like be like the go-getter. You know, you always have to be doing something, going. You never have a chance to stop. And you're being geared towards the fourth, you know, things to do with the home, the fourth house here, with the Four of Pentacles, and reiterating again with the Four of Pentacles. But this is just telling me that with the Queen of Cups here, which is the Cancer, and then we have the Four of Pentacles here, which also, it also, for reiterating the fourth house energy, which has to do with nurturing stability. But this one is letting you know that you may be worried about finances right now. You may be worried about money right now. You may be worried about will I have enough? If I were to quit my job, will I have enough? If I don't show up for my business, will I have enough? This is a fear. That's an underlying fear that you're dealing with right now. Okay, but we're gonna see what the Most High and the Holy Spirit has to say about that. Um, we're gonna clarify that here. Okay, but this is definitely getting you towards. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Too much worrying. You don't want to take rash action with the Knight of Wands there. You don't want to take rash action. Okay, this is someone taking rash action and then regretting it or regretting the actions that they took, which leads to an ending. Okay, which leads to an actual ending here, which people don't really want to experience. But you know, anytime you experience an ending, there's always a new beginning. You see how he's out of the. Okay, this is the upright. Okay, Ten of Swords here. Betrayal, deceit. This also represents transformation as well. Ending in a new beginning. Ending of doing things. Ending of a toxic cycle. Ending of overthinking. Ending of overanalyzing. The ending of like giving people the benefit of the doubt as well. But this is the transformation that just happened here. This is the reverse. Okay, this is the reverse path. He has gone through the ending and then he has transformed. You see, he's gone through the ending and he's transformed. Now, this year is the year of the 10 because if you add up like 2026, right? 2 and you know the 2 plus 0 is 2 and then you add 2 plus 2 is 4 and then 6, right? So 4 plus 6 is 10. We in the year of the 10. So there's a lot of endings and new beginnings that's going to happen here. There's a lot of transformation that's happening here, okay? There could also be a lot of betrayal and deceit and manipulation as well, but there's also on the opposite end of that with the 10 being a completion, you're being transformed into, like you're being propelled into a new beginning. For some of you, you may not be ready to have a new beginning. For some of you, you may still be holding on to the past, what happened in the past, what transpired in the past. Is it going to happen again? No. At this point, with the 10 year here, anything that's occurred in the past, it's no longer. It's not going to happen. You close out that cycle in 2025, which was the year of the 9. The year of the 10 is just ushering you into the new because when you add 1 plus 0, it's actually 1. So you're starting off brand new. So a lot of you may be getting a lot of 1 energy, like you're going to get Magician energy, you're going to get Ace of Pentacles energy, you're going to get Ace of Cups energy, you're going to get Ace of Wands energy. All of these are signifying like new beginning. So with this 10 of Swords here, the 10 of Swords, after the 10 is the 1, okay? After the 10 is the 1. So the 1, the Ace of Swords also represents victory, but the Ace of Swords also represents exposure, exposing the enemies, okay?
Did you have a sexual relationship or intimate encounter with a school teacher? You may be entitled to significant compensation if you were sexually abused by a teacher, coach, or school staff member.
If you want to be a wise guy, then it pays to have a little wisdom. There are guys you shouldn't cross, women you shouldn't touch.
Did I think that Larry's life was in danger? I the right thing to do. You know, love does funny things.
This is the story of how a promising young gangster, Larry Champagne Carosa, met his end.
What choice did I have? What can I say? Oh no, I'm not gonna do it. Larry don't deserve that.
My name is Steve Sciarippa. I grew up in a pretty rough neighborhood in Brooklyn, New York. I've seen good people turn bad and bad people turn worse. Some took contracts to carry out a hit. Some were victims of a hit. The hitman, life and death is just part of the business. It's nothing personal. Big Sal Michiota is a mafia hitman. It's Friday night and Sal's got plans. Sal's gonna go out with a young wannabe gangster named Larry Carosa.
I never thought about it, as a moral issue. A lot of times, killing a guy meant more money for the family, more money for the boss.
Today, Sal lives in hiding. He has never told the story of what he did to Larry Carosa until now.
If you're gonna hurt somebody, make sure you injure them severely so that they can't come back and exact revenge.
Sal Michiota, we did a lot of work. Did a lot of work.
Larry Carosa was one of them. I think his reputation was fearsome. He was a go-to guy when it came to killing people.
For Sal, taking Larry out is just part of his job. For Larry, May 20th, 1983 will be his last day on Earth.
Larry wanted to be in the light. And here's the rules, here's the regulations. If you screw this up, you're gonna get killed.
Big Sal has told Larry they're gonna go find the guy who owes the family money and who hasn't been paying. They'll rough him up a little bit. It's a routine mafia errand. But it's a big deal for Larry. He turned 30 a few weeks ago, and he thinks it's about time he was more than just another associate of the mafia's Colombo crime family. If Larry'd been a little more astute, he might have noticed he wasn't asked to pack a weapon. Big Sal had one. Here's a little lesson for you. If you're invited to go out on a hit, do you want to be the shooter? Yes, you do. And here's why. If you're going to get whacked, they never let you be the guy holding the gun. That would create a possibly unpleasant situation. So if they let you hold the gun, it's a good bet you aren't the one getting set up. It pays to think about things like that.
Larry's ambitions were definitely to be a wise guy. He wanted to be a guy, like a tough guy. So I would say that he had the backbone to do stuff like that.
And why wouldn't Larry want in? For most of the 20th century, the mob ran New York.
The American Mafia was born in 1931.
Certain sections of New York belonged to different families, and Brooklyn would just happen to be the place that the Colombos resided by and large.
The Colombo crime family is one of the 5 families in New York, and they control a myriad of illegal activities.
Their traditional methods of money were loan sharking, gambling, and although they didn't like to admit it, they were into narcotics.
It was overwhelming. I mean, they had a grip on all of New York. Nothing went on in New York without the mob having its hand in it.
Basically, any way they could make a buck, they did their best to get into it and make as much money as they can.
The Colombo family did have a reputation for being a family that you didn't want to fool with. They did not hesitate in using violence.
They were mythical in a lot of ways, in terms of their power and their ruthlessness.
Hey, breathe.
9 out of every 10 made men in a mafia family have some way been involved in a murder. All the mafia families are violent. None of them has a reputation for being non-violent. They believe whatever their interests are paramount. And their interest, if they have to be protected by murder, even multiple murders,